Everyone, welcome to the Happy Gaijin. I am so sorry that I am late. It was not my intention. It's been a little bit of an interesting day. But the important thing is that I am here. I don't like missing streams. I know I really enjoy hanging out with you guys, etc. So, I don't know who's gonna turn up because, usually it's very important to have something scheduled. People sort of plan around the schedules. But it doesn't matter. I'm here for now anyway. And hopefully some people will start finding the stream and coming to say hello. 3 people so far. Usually I start with around 10. But it's all good. It's all good. And hopefully you can all hear me. Hopefully you can all hear me. So, what on earth has happened? Why was I late? You might be wondering. Well, it was a little bit of a mix-up. Number one, I scheduled a stream, but I accidentally set it as private. So it was scheduled, but it was set as private, and then I just realized last minute, so I had to change the thumbnail and reschedule it and everything and make it different. That's the first thing. Number two, I've been so busy today. It's just been one of those really, really crazy busy days where everything goes all over the place and you don't know what's going on. And at one point I was like, am I even going to be able to stream? I'm going to make it happen. I was in the middle of editing a short that I've just released right now on the Ninja Monkey channel. Anyway, I'm here now. It's been a crazy day. I got home quite later than what I expected. And it doesn't matter. We're here to hang out. So don't forget to say hello in the chat. And let's get the conversation started. Remember, guys, that this Wednesday stream, you can shoot any questions. It's pretty much a free-for-all. Usually a little bit shorter than my normal Sunday stream on the Ninja Monkey. But hey, Common Commenter is going to Japan on Sunday. I am so excited for you, Common Commenter. It's going to be freaking epic. And yes, I was late. Jennifer friend, hey Nathan, so good to see you always. Hey, good. I'm always happy to see you in the chat. And I've been looking at your Instagram stuff, and you can send me a video. You know what I'm talking about. Frog Lady is in the house. Hey, Frog Lady, how are you doing? Dude, Clay is live streaming at the same time. Well, to hell with Clay. I'm gonna be honest. This is my time. 9:30 every single Wednesday, every single Sunday. No change. You can watch 2 at the same time. Support Clay also. We hear you loud and clear. Awesome. I'm glad. John Mitchell, good afternoon you all. And Little Big Sis, hi everyone. Hi Little Big Sis, how are you doing? So yeah, in general, like I said, Wednesday stream is a little bit of a chill stream. Nothing really planned other than talking about maybe what's been going on, what my plans are for my trip to Japan, which is what, I don't know, when? in a month's time, less, 4 weeks, I'm guessing. 4 weeks time maybe? 5 weeks time maybe? I don't know. But it's not going to be a very long time before I am in Japan, everyone. I'm super excited about it also. But I know it's going to be a very short trip, so I need to really, really start planning what I'm going to do, or if I'm going to meet anybody, who I'm going to meet, etc. I'm not very sure about a meetup. I'll have to wait and see, to be honest. Question, with the increase of the JR passes, do you think there will be an increase in one day, make the most of the past trips, like Kanazawa for a day or 2, then Tokyo to Kyoto and then back in 5 days? Yes, 100%. I think that people will, my guess anyway, is that people will end up still traveling, but traveling to less places, I think, in general. I think that people will be more picky, more choosy, and there will be a far less day trips. definitely there'll be far less day trips. In fact, the decrease of the JR pass is literally going to do the opposite of what the Japanese government want, and that is those people going to more rural places. I think the opposite. People are just not going to get the JR pass, and they're just going to spend the equivalent of what they would have spent on the JR pass going to Kyoto, Tokyo, and Osaka, and maybe a place like Kanazawa. But yeah, Kanazawa for a day or two. I don't know if people will do it. I don't know. Maybe they'll do it for a little bit of a like they'll add it to the itinerary. I think that realistically, it can still be quite affordable to do Japan, to do Tokyo, also Osaka, Kyoto. I bracket into one because they're so close to each other, you know. So probably doing Tokyo to Kyoto and back is very affordable, and that's probably what people are going to do. My prediction: people will go to Tokyo, spend longer in Tokyo, go to Osaka and Kyoto, spend longer in Osaka and Kyoto, and maybe do some very tiny trips to like Nara or from Tokyo, Kamakura, that kind of thing, which are easy, super easy trips, if that makes any sense. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It'll be very interesting to see how things progress in the long run, because we really don't know how things will progress in the long run in terms of the JR Pass. Sorry to have missed the last couple of streams. Don't worry, dude. Glad to be catching this one. I'm glad to be catching this one too. And one thing is for sure, and that is that I do you know, want to stream every Wednesday, and I want to stream every Sunday. If something has gone wrong and maybe there's no like scheduled stream, the likelihood is that I am going to stream unless something super crazy happens. The likelihood is that I am going to stream. Jim Ross, great. I was wondering what was happening. I was about to write a strongly worded condemnation for destroying my very existence with no life. You redeemed yourself. Well, I'm glad that I've redeemed myself, at least for Jim. Yeah, I was just explaining. I scheduled the stream. I accidentally scheduled it and it was on private. And when I realized that it was on private, I thought there's no point on making it public now. So I just made a new stream and called it Sorry I'm Late. So that's part of what happened. The second thing is that I have actually been incredibly busy and I've got home a lot later than I expected. And for a minute I thought, am I going to be able to stream? But I am. I'm here. I want to at least do, you know, even though this might be a little bit shorter than the usual stream, I think I still want to stream, you know? Isn't that the goal from JR's point of view? Encourage more tourists to visit areas outside of Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto corridor to make the JR pass expensive and other passes cheaper by comparison. John Mitchell, actually it's a country. Basically, a lot of people used to use a JR pass to travel to more places. It was an incentive. You would pay a set fee and you would be able to travel for further and to more places in the time frame. But now with the J Pass actually going up in price, it's actually not affordable for the type of trip that the majority of people will want to be taking. In other words, I think you need to basically be going on a trip and changing hotel every day or every other day to make it worth it. So it'll be interesting to see how tourists react. And I think that one of the clearest indicators of this is to have a look at how tour operators react. A lot of tour operators rely on the JR Pass to to basically get their customers around Japan. One of the tours that I went on Inside Japan tours initially, the first one that I went to Japan was on a tour. It was actually using a JR Pass with Inside Japan tours, and I've already noticed, which is quite interesting, that Inside Japan tours are now offering some tours with flights flying within Japan. So already there's been a shift on in specifically that tour operator that I follow every now and then. I saw a few tours where they fly, for example, to the north of Japan and then maybe travel down, etc. So already the pattern is changing, and I think definitely looking at how tour operators use the different, the price change, whether it be, actually increasing their price point for those tours, or changing the way that the tour operates by, removing some places in the tour. It'll be interesting to see. Or potentially changing the way that you travel, like I've mentioned now. I wouldn't be surprised if tours now all of a sudden include night buses and flights and that sort of thing. Maybe it has an effect on the accommodation to offset the price of the JR Pass. Maybe more tour operators will start using business hotels and cheaper hotels. All of these things are in the card and on the card. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to predict until it actually happens. I think for a set tourist who is planning a trip on their own and who might be on a budget, it might simply be a case of, I have $500 to spend on travel across Japan. How far can it get me? And when they look at the price of the JR Pass, they might actually decide, no, I can't go for the JR Pass because I'm going to be in Japan for 3 weeks and I'm going to choose 4 destinations to go to. Those are my predictions. It's obviously always very interesting to see what your thoughts are and whether you think I'm thinking in the same, in the right way, or whether you think that I'm thinking incorrectly, if that makes any sense. Why does this say that? Hold on a minute. Okay. So yeah, that is basically what I'm saying. But let's read some of your comments. I think they do still buy the passes, will travel more often, trying to break even. Yeah, I think there are some tourists like myself, for example, when I traveled to Japan, obviously, I did 20 different hotels, over 20 different hotels. So there are some travelers like myself where changing location every single day or every other day is one way of doing it. But I think they will definitely detour, there will be some families and groups of friends, etc., that might just simply scrap day trips, for example. So less sales but higher use per ticket. Yeah, maybe. But it's quite harsh also, Japan, Alan. Less sales but higher use per ticket. It's not for everyone. That style of trip is definitely not for everyone. So that would be in itself would be quite interesting. And by the way, everyone who's watching, please like the video. I've seen that there's only 3 likes, but there's 7 of you liking, which means that either you don't like what I'm saying, or you don't like the channel, or you don't have a finger to tap. One or the other. Hello, Frog Lady. How are things in Australia? Jim Ross, indeed. I think JR will end up having less frequent trains on the network when the overall ticket volumes drop. It will be interesting to see how much of the revenue the JR passes currently are. I don't think that there's much in terms of revenue. I don't think the issue is to do with revenue, like how much money JR makes, because it's obviously they're not making as much money as individual tickets are more expensive. The issue that I have with the JR Pass personally is more so how it's going to affect a lot of the satellite towns and cities that have benefited from having a JR Pass and people traveling to using the JR Pass. Mostly places around Tokyo I can think of straight away are places like Nagano, Matsumoto, for example, even Yokohama, which isn't too expensive on its own, but makes for a very easy day trip, especially if you have the JR Pass. even people who have done day trips to Sendai, for example, and then from Kyoto and Osaka, there are many day trips. I know a lot of people have done it. Like for example, Jennifer, she did a day trip to Hiroshima from Kyoto. All of those things might be things of the past. I think that you're right, Japanese Japan. There's going to be two groups of people. The group of people that basically decide that they're going to be hardcore and see so much that it is worth it for them, and the group of people who basically decide actually the money that I used to spend on the JR Pass can now only get me to 4 places instead of 20, and therefore I'm going to only choose 4 places to go to. I'll spend longer in Tokyo, I'll spend longer in Kyoto, and I'll just maybe visit the local areas around, I think. I'd have to see a pass with 14 days of local trains and only limited Shinkansen access if affordable. I mean, I think that there's definitely a conversation to be had in terms of alternatives to the JR Pass and different passes that we would like to see. For example, I would like to see passes using the Shinkansen for places that are not on the golden route and places that are not on the silver route. I would love to see a pass that is, I know that we have the Tohoku passes, etc., but I would like to see a pass where basically maybe it's like cheaper, but it doesn't include, or you could start in Tokyo, or you can, doesn't matter where you start from, but you cannot stop on some of the major cities. You can just stop in some of the less visited places. That would be pretty cool, and that would sort of solve and maybe even give more of an incentive for people to actually travel away from the main locations. What are your thoughts? Would you be interested in a city sort of strange pass like that? Would you? My question is, would you make use of a pass that did not include Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto? That would not include Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto, but would include anywhere that you start from using the Shinkansen. And John, the Arch Pass is a little bit different. It's basically going to Kyoto via Kanazawa, and already they've announced that there is going to be a price increase and that they will be announcing the price increase I think before the winter, but the price increase will be happening in the spring. This is in an official JR statement regarding the Arch Pass. I'm talking about a whole different thing. I'm just dreaming here, guys. I'm dreaming of a pass that suits me. I'm dreaming of a pass. I have a dream. And that dream is a pass that enables people to travel to cities and towns that are less visited. Let's call it the JR Less Visited Pass, where some of the major cities, specifically Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka, are not included, but you can start at any of those 3 cities. So you could start in Kyoto and you could get to Hiroshima, you could get to some other places around the area, Nagasaki, whatever, but you would not be able to, or I guess that the rule would be that you're allowed to go back to where you started, right? If not, it will be like a little bit impossible. But just some ideas here. Some crazy ideas I would like to see. I just want to see I want to see people traveling to less visited places, really. That's the whole point. I believe the vast majority of revenue for JR Rail and most passengers are not using a tourist pass. I think so. I mean, I wouldn't really know, but I guess the same as you. Says you told me on the chat Sunday, I didn't want to ask again. Still jealous, envious, and happy for you and your husband to celebrate in Japan. Lucky you guys. Who are you talking to? But yeah, who is? Oh yeah, Frog Lady. Yes, you're going to Japan. Yes. 12 more sleeps is nothing. Common Commentator is going on Sunday, guys. Sunday. That's nothing. I think I'd expect that, John, but the figures would be interesting. I think they'll be interesting. I don't think we'd ever see any figures. Nathan, liked your new short for towns. Much see. Yeah, I've just put out a short on Ninja Monkey, by the way. Basically, it's like 3 cities you should visit that are not Tokyo. 3 cities that you should visit that are not Tokyo. I mean, to be honest, I could do 100 of those shorts. 3 cities that you should visit that are not Tokyo. But the 3 that I basically put was Kanazawa, very easy to access from Tokyo. I tried to think of places that are easy to access from Tokyo. Kanazawa. I also put number 2. I put Sendai was an interesting one because Sendai as a city is not that wow really, but as a base to go and check out and like travel to other places is fantastic. And finally, I put Aizu Wakamatsu. It's I have a lot of footage. It's a guide that will be going out in the next few weeks, I'm guessing. Aizu Wakamatsu was a really interesting kind of a off the beaten path city, which I loved because it's known as Samurai City. Their whole marketing is welcome to Aizu Wakamatsu, Samurai City. So it's pretty cool, and it's also known for the akobeko, which is this thing here. You've probably seen it before. And you can actually design your own and make your own and check it out. I made my own with the Ninja Monkey. It's not the best piece of art, but it's kind of nice that I made it, you know. So Aizu Wakamatsu was pretty cool. So yeah, those 3 places are easy to get to from Tokyo, especially if you have a JR Pass. I think that places like specifically Aizu Wakamatsu is really going to be affected by the increase of the JR Pass because it's not a place that people will go, you know, like unless they really want to go to. So you could go to Japan for 2 weeks. Yeah, spend 3 days in Tokyo. Then activate your JR Pass, go to Kanazawa for 2 days, Kyoto for 5 days, come back to Tokyo. On a 7-day pass, you break even on cost. Would you break even? I have to look at the maths. But the issue is, yeah, you're right, probably you'll break even. But my issue is, it's taking away the spontaneity that people have had when you've been in Tokyo and you've been like, okay, I'm going to do this day trip, etc. To the satellite cities and towns. The same in Kyoto, you know. But yeah, maybe. Maximizing your pass will become a hot topic. It is becoming. It is a hot topic already. A pass not including Tokyo, Osaka and Kyoto is a regional pass. No, actually, common commenter. Regional passes include many places, and there are different types of regional passes. But I'm talking about a nationwide pass that you could choose where to start it and where to return it to, but you can't go to certain places, I think. That's it. Perfect for travelers on the 2nd and 3rd visit. I guess that's what I'm talking about. I guess I'm talking about like trying to get people to less visited places. Regional passes, unfortunately, for example, the Hokkaido pass, you need to start pretty much in Hokkaido. The Tohoku pass, you can start in Tokyo. The Shikoku pass, you have to start in Shikoku. So they already are sort of like limiting who is traveling to those regions because you need to get to those regions first, unfortunately. I'd like an unlimited in-car pass for express trains from major centers. Yeah. We just need to look for a local rapids, unlimited expense trains, not just JR. I mean, that would be fantastic if everything just like sort of joined up all the networks. Just read an article about First Adventure Travel World Summit 2023 held in Sapporo, Hokkaido for 4 days. 750 participants from 64 countries attended. Adventure travel is on the rise. Adventure travel is on the rise, you're right. But it's kind of limited. I mean, when it comes to mass tourism, which is a little bit of a crazy balance to talk about because there's a talk about, you know, like over tourism, But then at the same time, you want mass tourism to, you need to make money out of tourism. And unfortunately, the only way really to make money is either attracting mass tourism or attracting very rich people. It's difficult. Adventure traveler agent targets older travelers with more money because they tend to stay longer, spend more money, and want to. I don't understand what adventure traveler means, because I would have thought that an adventure traveler was somebody like doing like an active sort of traveling. So maybe I have not understood it. I would not like, for example, attach an adventure traveler with culture. I would think of an adventure traveler as somebody who wants to climb up Mount Fuji, who wants to go up the different trails, etc., etc. I don't know. But you could choose any Shinkansen accessible city to replace Kanazawa. Aomori, Sendai, Hiroshima could be spontaneous by choosing these. Maybe. Or how about a JR Pass where you need to choose 5 places, only 5 places? I don't know. John, you did a lot in a few days there. Well, that's what happens. You know? When you go to Japan, you do tend to overload it. A national pass excluding those cities wouldn't help reducing the number of people on busiest routes. I disagree. I think it would definitely reduce the number of people on the busiest routes, specifically between Tokyo and Kyoto and Osaka, which is the busiest routes, because it would mean that people would have to choose to go elsewhere. Basically, I don't know. Obviously, if you're going from Tokyo to, if you start in Osaka, for example, and you cannot go to Tokyo, you'd have to stop somewhere else before getting to Tokyo, maybe Nagoya. You'd have to stop or go south to Hiroshima. People might choose to go to different places. I don't know. Or people might then choose to fly between the cities and then start their passes. I don't know, but ultimately, the funny thing is that if you're going from Tokyo to Hiroshima, you'll be using the same trains, but it doesn't matter. It's not about the trains, it's about the route. It's not about the train, it's the same train, but the busy route is between anywhere, between 3 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and Tokyo. In that sort of like circle, I would say is the busy route. If you're going away from Tokyo, it's not as busy, basically, if that makes any sense. If you're going away from Tokyo, it's not that busy. Obviously, it's busy, but not as busy, I think the word is. And I think that there's not going to be any change in terms of... they put the price of the JR Pass price up, but the funny thing is that people are still going to go to Kyoto, people are still going to go to Osaka, people are still going to go to Tokyo, and those routes are still going to be as busy. Nothing's going to change. There's not going to be a reduction. People are not going to not go to Kyoto because they don't have a JR Pass. They're just only going to go to Kyoto, if that makes any sense. That's what I think anyway. So the routes are still going to be busy, and I guess that the only way that they can fix that is by adding more trains. I don't know. What are the JR networks actually trying to do by increasing the prices? Discourage gaijins, increase profits. I think, in theory, it's discourage gaijins, which is not going to happen. It's just going to discourage gaijins to go elsewhere. Increase profits, obviously. I think there's definitely been a loss of earnings during the pandemic, and they're trying to make it back. Or are they trying to encourage rich people? They define adventure travel as a style that consists of at least 2 experiences from nature, culture, and activity. They say Hokkaido is ideal for this type of travel. I don't know, man. I would not. I would definitely say adventure. I would link adventure automatically with somebody in their 20s or 30s, that sort of thing. That's where I would. But I mean, Japan is very well known to use words to try and reinvent words and to create new definitions of things that don't make sense. I mean, yeah, like what are the two experiences? I guess that's a question. But yeah, nature, Hokkaido has it. Culture, Hokkaido doesn't have culture. Not that much culture, guys. That's a funny thing. Hokkaido is one of the least. Don't shoot me, okay? But Hokkaido is one of the most beautiful places for nature, but one of the least sort of like cultural places in terms of Japaneseness. When you come to Japan, you expect shrines, temples, you expect the torii gates and all that jazz. And Hokkaido hasn't got as much of that. It does have skiing, it does have wildlife, and it does have like food culture, and it has its own sort of vibe, which is different to the main island. But it doesn't have the, if you go to Hokkaido, you'll actually be like, this doesn't quite feel the same as the rest of Japan. Sapporo, with its super wide streets, with its grid-like streets, which actually feels a little bit more European, or feels maybe even more American. It's kind of strange. Hokkaido can be like that because they are a lot more newer. You know, like they're newer than they're the new Japan compared to the rest, I think, anyway. You'd have to include cities with airports. You could cut the Tokaido line from the pass entirely. Maybe combine the Hakone free pass, would force folks to explore, and let JR have domestic folks. Yeah, I mean, it's all going to be very interesting, I think, to see how they adapt. I think, unfortunately, Japan is very slow to fix mistakes. This is the only thing that I'm going to say from experience and from seeing, how Japan have done things with the border, etc. When the borders were closed, they're very slow to act on things. And I think that if this is a mistake, which it isn't, I don't think it's necessarily a mistake. This is the way that I read into it. I'm going to be brutally honest, and I've said this before. I read it like this. Japan wants to get rid of the JR Pass. They don't want a JR Pass. This is my experience. When I speak to Japanese people, they think that it's unfair that a foreigner can travel on Shinkansen so cheaply, And I think that personally Japan has just wanted to get rid of the JR Pass, but what they've done is they couldn't just get rid of the JR Pass because it would just be very, very bad PR. And instead they've just put it at a price point that basically very few people, or a lot less people, will use. In essence, the way that I read it is they've pretty much got rid of the JR Pass. It's going to be before the JR Pass used to be a great idea for 90% of travelers in Japan, and now the JR Pass is going to be a great idea for only 10% of travelers. So it's sort of like shifted the balance. Bear in mind, they have not increased the cost of passes in a long time, a decade, and inflation is a thing. Yeah, and John, another interesting thing is we don't quite know whether or not JR, and there are rumors of this, but unfortunately nothing concrete, nothing that I can report on, just people whispering and talking about increases in Shinkansen train fares. And if that happens, then we might be having a different conversation, because if all of a sudden they increase JR fares by 40% or by 30% or whatever, and all of a sudden it costs 40% more to go on a trip on the Shinkansen from Tokyo to Kyoto, for example, you might be like, actually, the JR Pass might be worth it. I'm not sure increasing profits is obvious. They will discourage JR Pass buyers massively. So unless they take trains less frequently, they'll lose out. Most information on Japan is focused on the big three and a few special sites. Unless they change the nature of how they promote Japan as a whole, nothing will change. Yeah, I think there's definitely an opportunity to create a new type of pass that get people out to the places that need the tourism, you know, that are not over touristed. I believe the Japanese government should be promoting other parts of the country more. The bulk of tourists, when they think of Japan, think of Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, Sapporo, and in some ways Okinawa. Yeah, I agree. And I see the JR Pass as gaijins subsiding their trains that are already on the network, so they'll lose out, truly. We shall see. They should educate the masses on the rest of the country that are worth visiting. Plenty of Japan goes undiscovered by gaijin. Well, hopefully that's something that I will be doing more of, or that I am already trying to do. I'm very keen on promoting other parts of Japan. I think Japan as a whole has a lot to offer that goes beyond Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka. Saying all that, the next video is actually a Tokyo-based video, the one that's coming out this weekend. But there's definitely space to explore the rest of Japan, and I have lots of videos coming up that I have to edit, like a Sendai guide, Aizo Wakamatsu that I mentioned. I have a whole guide that has to be edited. I have Kyoto of the North guide also that has to be edited. I have some different experiences. I have my part 2 of my Kanazawa video that has to be edited also. I have my Matsuri video that also has to be edited. So there's a lot that I'm going to be putting out there that is not anywhere surrounding, or that isn't necessarily the golden route of Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka. And hopefully they will be popular. But unfortunately, when it comes to YouTube just, a lot of people just like Tokyo content. Well, that's my theory. We'll see if next week's video is remotely even popular. We'll see. Maybe this is an opportunity for the other rail companies to get creative if they want tourist traffic. Could be. I don't think that profit was a main reason for the increase of the prices. I have seen tourists booking more tickets than they needed. I've been on trains many times when seats have been reserved. Yeah, but empty. Yeah, that can happen. Indeed. That can happen. Indeed. You actually touched on some areas worth visiting. Credit to you. I think you're doing the live streaming and hosting thing well and have the personality and confidence to match. Thank you, Matthew. I don't know about the personality. Let's just say that the personality is a work in progress. Confidence, maybe. I don't know. Also a work in progress. I think that what I definitely have is a passion to share Japan. I feel very passionate about what I talk about. I feel that I want people to experience what I've experienced, if that makes any sense. When I go to a place and I experience something in that place, I am thinking, wow, this place is amazing. How can I get people, how can I convince people to come and do what I've done or what I'm doing? Because people need to see this, you know. That is my general outlook when it comes to Japan. This happened in Kanazawa. Kanazawa city invited me. Well, they didn't quite invite me. They prepared the itinerary for me and they guided me around the city. But I fell in love with the city. I learned a lot about the city, and I'm really looking forward to the part 2 of the Kanazawa video, because it's going to hit and it's going to touch on some experiences that are not on YouTube. I swear, some of the things that I did are literally, there are no videos on YouTube about them. They're very, very specific, very, very unique, very, very niche experiences that I did, and I can't wait to share them with you. Now, whether or not they're too niche, whether or not they're too small for the masses, we'll have to wait and see. I have booked tickets on the app, and when looking at the seat map, noticed the front of the carriage is fully booked. Then when we got the train, no one was in those seats. Yeah, and also what happens there, Frog Lady, if in those specific situations, and Japan Ichiban, is that sometimes that seat has been booked, but they've got off earlier, the tourists, if that makes any sense. Lani! Ah, there you are. But how to solve the problem with reserved but not used seats? I don't know. I don't know what the thing is. I don't know. I mean, I guess with the JR Pass, the one thing would be that you are limited to the amount of reserved seats that you can take, maybe. I've never been on a cruise. Have I? No, I haven't been on a cruise. I've been on plenty of boats. Charge people, also, maybe. I think your content is being copied by other YouTubers. About a week to 10 days after you release on location, sadly I get a bunch of recommendations on the same locations. I don't know if people are necessarily copying my content. I think that there's a lot of Japan content creators, and I think that what happens is that basically YouTube learns that you're interested in something. So if you watch a video about Kanazawa and you know, you comment on the video about Kanazawa, then YouTube will be like, oh, Jim is really interested in Kanazawa, so maybe Jim will want to see a few more videos about Kanazawa, and then basically you'll get a few videos about Kanazawa. I mean, whether or not people specifically copy my style, and I know that some people have, and they've actually copied it very successfully and done much better than me now. But whether or not people copy my style, I take that as a compliment. You know, they say that you know, like, imitation is the best form of flattery. But hey, here we are, stuck. I've seen YouTubers go in the last 4 months from having 6,000 to having 17, 18, 19, 20,000 subscribers in the last 3 months, doing the same content as me. But hey, it is what it is. No, I've been on from the start to finish and no one was in those seats. Interesting. Wow, Frog Lady. Well, I don't know. I mean, I know that it also can happen with Japanese people, probably less frequently, but it can. There are a lot of Japanese people who miss their Shinkansens. I've seen it happen. And obviously, if they have a reserved seat, I'm not very sure how it works. I think that they might not necessarily lose the ticket, but they might lose the reserved seat, if that makes any sense. Videos are created after Nathan's, just a supposition. Maybe, I don't know if they're, I don't know. I mean, thanks for the vote of confidence, Jim, to think that I can influence people. I appreciate it. I do, I really do. But yeah. Sorry for the spam, but I tried to book a ferry and didn't receive the mail with the payment instructions. The website said mail address in hiragana, but I'm not able to type hiragana. Where are you trying to go to, by the way? Where are you trying to go to? Because I have had to go through third parties in the past, as in like Klook or something like that, to book certain things because of issues like that, where basically you need like a Japanese address or you need to write something in Japanese. So I've had to do it through a second you know, person. And when it comes to ferries, also I've had to book them in person, at the ferry terminal. For example, when I went to Sado Island, I had a similar thing. It was asking me for like hiragana name, but actually I then realized, and I don't know if you can do the same, but I realized that I could change to English. And maybe there's a setting in there that you're not seeing that will allow you to change to English. Maybe not. I'm just looking here. The Ferry Sunflower. Web reservations. Obviously it's very difficult for me. There's so many different things to do. I don't know. The only thing that I can say really is, if Lani, you figure it out, tell us, because obviously these are the tips that will help future travelers. But yeah. I mean, I'm looking here and it's in English, by the way. So, I'm not sure. One way, select, boarding vehicle. You'd have to look, really. I'm not sure, to be honest. Overnight ferry, nice. Sounds like a wonderful trip. I've looked into that but couldn't stand the constant song playing on their speakers. What do they have? A constant song playing on the speakers? What? What? Try a different email address then. It's getting hot now. So yeah, by the way, we did, for those of you who are not aware, we did a Patreon Zoom call after the chat, the live stream on Sunday, and it was so much fun. It was really nice getting to meet people like face to face and seeing people, having a chat with people. So it's definitely something that I was trialing, and I was like, how is this going to work? Is it going to be worth it? Is it, you know, how is it going to work? And actually I think it works really well. So I will be hopefully doing some more Patreon only Zoom calls every now and then. I will be doing some Patreon only Zoom calls because it was fun, like as in a group Zoom sort of chat. It was really fun actually to you know, just interact. It was only half an hour. Jim said, very and rightly so, half an hour is too short. Maybe half an hour is too short. But I think we're going to have to just choose like a day that isn't necessarily a streaming day, because it's just maybe too much for me to stream. Or maybe it was too much because I streamed on the Happy Gaijin and then I streamed on the Ninja Monkey and then I did the Zoom call. But yeah, it was so much fun. So thanks so much, those of you who did turn up. Patreon Zoom was fun, wasn't it? JJI. So much fun. No, but you can turn it down. Oh. Of course it was worth it. Yes, it was. Donna, it was. It was, I think when you do these things, you know, in the back of your head, you're like, how is this going to work? How are we going to like take it in turns to talk like as a group and, you know, that sort of thing. But I think it worked really well. I think it's pretty much, obviously, as a host, I was trying to guide the conversation to different people, or else it would just be basically impossible. You know, like if you guys started having conversations with one another, it would be kind of very difficult. But oh yeah, and Dying Girl was there also. Yeah, Douglas was there. It was pretty cool. I want to sit in a hot bath looking outside at the dark ocean. Does the ferry have a hot bath? It was great. I can now put a face to Frog Lady, and we can all say that Frog Lady is not a frog. Yes, they have. Actually, Frog Lady, why are you called Frog Lady? I want to know. It was fun. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was like a special, exclusive, like little chat that we had. So I just posted a short. Don't forget to check it out, everyone. Let me see if I can get a link and share it. Oh, sugar. It's so hot right now. How do I share this? There we go. There is a link to my short. You could check it out. It's under 30 seconds. Basically, 3 cities to explore that are not Tokyo, guys. I repeat, not Tokyo. Aye. And me with you, Jim. Anyway, it is going to... I'm going to start wrapping things up in the next 5 minutes or so. So if you have any final questions, final comments, final things to say, if you want me to cover something in the next live stream, for example, also, I'm up for some for some recommendations or some ideas. Happy Gaijin is a chill stream. A little bit less informal, or more informal, less formal, less informal, more informal than Ninja Monkey. JJI and Dying Goal were channel stars. You love to collect. Do you have frogs? Next time we do a Zoom call, can you show me some of your frogs? Yay! Cool. You collect frogs. Interesting. That is really interesting. I think you're the first person I've ever met who likes to... But like, do you collect real frogs or like plushy frogs? now I need to know. I'm having visions of you having like tanks with frogs in them, or having loads of different types of plushy frogs and frog like memorabilia. And I'm not sure. Thanks, Jim. It's hot. And don't forget, guys, that I did put out an Osaka guide earlier on this week. So please check that one out also. It's going very slow right now, actually. Super slow in terms of views. Like, nearly not getting views at all, surprisingly. But yeah, I've changed the thumbnail. Hopefully it's a little bit better. We'll see. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of time. Also, I should name me Dragon Lady, but frogs are so cute and nice too. Frogs can be cute, but they can also be scary. I don't know. I used to have real frogs, but now it's just anything frog related. Okay. So like frog painting, a frog like magnet, that kind of thing. Okay, good to know, good to know. Awesome. And what's the date now? Because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks before, or 5 weeks and a little bit more before I head to Japan. Guys, that's nothing. 5 weeks is basically nothing. I need to really get down to business and try to plan what I'm going to be doing when I'm there, other than Halloween. At least get one day trip out. It's going to be my first autumn trip, so I've got to try and be strategic, I think. So yeah, anyway, and the baseball video on the Happy Gaijin channel is doing a lot better than I expected. Surprisingly, it's like nearly doing better than the Ginza line video. Hey, thank you. Pocket Wi-Fi from Sakura Mobile. Awesome. Thank you very much, Lani. Those little things do really help because I do get a little commission and I get a check every month, and basically that check will help with future whatever trips, etc. So I appreciate it a lot, much appreciated. 12 days, Frog Lady. 12 days. When do you return, by the way? How long? You're there for, what was it, 10 days or 2 weeks? I can't remember now. So we'll miss each other, unfortunately. It would be so cool if we were there at the same time. One day, I'm sure we will, one day. Anyway. 12 days, I am so envious right now. So envious. If you notice my Kanazawa video, I have this shirt on. Interesting fact. But I had to get rid of the Hiroshima because it was a Kanazawa video, so I had to Photoshop Hiroshima out of the thing, which is fine. Anyway, everyone, I think if anybody has 40 days, Lani, nothing. 40 days is also not too long. Yeah, everyone, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Give this stream a like. Check out my content. It really helps. Leave comments in my latest videos on Ninja Monkey. And I'll catch you in the next one, either in the comment section of the next video that will be released in the weekend, or on Sunday on the live stream. Much appreciated. Thanks for being here. I know it's been a little bit of a short one, but we made it. I made it. Take care, everyone. Stay positive and be a happy gaijin. Till next time.